Hello traders, it's Samurai Trader here. Welcome to this video. I'm just going to run through which strategies I recommend you focus on when you first join. Even though I've covered this probably in 3 or 4 other videos, they tend to get, just with the number of videos in the program, they tend to get a little lost. So I just thought I'd do another fairly quick video as a reminder for new members and perhaps even existing members on where you should start. So as we get underway, of course there is a risk in trading. As a member, please ensure that you review the risk disclaimer on a regular basis. But let's get into it now. First of all, as a new member, you would have received the welcome email. You will actually receive 2 emails: an email from membership services with your login details, and of course my welcome email. And please take your time in watching all of the videos. The links are embedded in the welcome email. I know there's 7 or 8 of them, but they're all very important recordings. Please take your time. A new member recently remarked that all of the information and files that I have on my Google Drive is like a treasure chest. So please take your time in going through every folder, PowerPoint and document. Just remember, traders, that the markets are going to be here next week, next month, next year. So just slow down, get your notepad, take notes as you start to go through each folder so you can keep track of what you've actually gone through. But take your time, very important. Now also, I upload new videos and uploads such as ebooks, training materials, etc., almost every week into a folder on my Google Drive called new recordings and downloads. So in the spreadsheet, which you would have received with your welcome email, you will find there's, I think, now over 300 video links there, but I'm adding each and every week as I do new Q&A sessions. As an example, with the rule of one of our new setups that we're trading on Renko charts, you'll find those in the new recording and downloads. Very important. So let's now discuss, where do I recommend you start as far as the strategies go. Well, I want to quickly refer to Mark Douglas in his great book, The Disciplined Trader. Now Mark talks about mastering the art of day trading, or trading in general. And as a reminder, and I know I bring this up on a regular basis, he states here, to become an expert, choose one simple trading system that identifies a pattern, preferably one that is mechanical instead of mathematical. And so virtually every one of our strategies are pattern based, very important. But because there's now over, what have we got now, there's over 14 or 15 strategies, we want to really drill down at your mastering, as he points out here, one. Now a lot of our strategies are interrelated, such as a T1 and a T2, which we'll refer to in a moment. They're very closely related but slightly different. But I'm going to show you in a moment which one I really like you to focus on. Now we've all heard this: trading's really easy, buy dips and sell rallies, the trend is my friend. So we're going to start with the trend strategies, and I really want you to focus on learning the trend strategies and trading. Now I actually just want to stand back a little bit from what I just said then. I do in the end want you to learn the counter trend strategies, and one of the reasons being, even though we may not trade them, or I'd recommend in many cases you don't trade them, it's very important that you recognize when you have a counter trend or a very strong counter trend strategy setting up. And the reason being, that's a good time to stay out of a market, to not take a trend trade. So it is important that over a period of time that you learn these strategies. And as you've probably heard me say in a number of recordings, it's a little bit like a tradesman or a craftsman. When they open their toolbox, you'll see they've got different tools in there for different jobs, and that's the reason we have different setups for different market conditions. So the trend following strategies are, of course, the T1, the super scalper, that's my white paint bar; the T2, the slingshot; the T7. Now you'll hear me talk about the T7 in 2 different formats. One, with the trend, so you've got a T7 which is a double bottom or double top with the trend or counter trend. The T18, now the T18, there's a little confusion over the T18. The T18 basically encompasses all of the trend following trades. Okay, so it means all of these. Now once again, on the spreadsheet, which we'll look at in a moment, there are recordings on the T18 and talking about all of these. The T25, now with the rule of one, I don't have a PowerPoint with the rule of one, but there is a folder called Renko charts. And now with the new version of Renko, I've put together what I call the rule of one, and there's some comprehensive notes in that folder, and actually we'll probably have a quick look at that in a moment. So it's new for trading Renko charts, and it's a brilliant strategy. The rule of two for 21B. Now for 21B, I don't talk about so much, but you'll hear me refer to it, and the rules are exactly the same as the 34, except you're using a 21 instead of a 34. But you're most accurate, and just keep this in mind, the number one strategy I want you to master to begin with is the 34B. Remember that, 34B. My second, if you're trading Renko, is the rule of one, provided you follow the rules that I have outlined in the videos and the training notes. And of course there we have, as a trend following strategy, the 89B. Now for change in trend or new trend confirmation, we've got the T9 and the T10. Now you'll see the differences, and look, very quickly, the only difference really between the T9 and the T10 is with the T9, it's where we have the super scalper plot to confirm the new trend. But the money on the floor has been around for many years. It's a great strategy. Okay, so it's a change in trend along with the T20. Now we'll look at the recordings in a moment, where to find the recordings on all of these. But the T20 is another strategy that I want you to learn very early on, not just as a trading strategy, but it will confirm a new trend, and it's very accurate. So it's very important that you master the T20. Now for your counter trend trades, as I mentioned earlier, I really want you to learn counter trend trades, or how to at least recognize the patterns, because it's a good heads up of when perhaps to stay out of a market. So counter trend divergence trading, you've got your T3, your T89. Also at times I call it a V trade. Now this is where you get an extreme market move, or even a mean reversion trade, or reversion to the mean, depends which side of a tracks you come on, what you call it. But it's where you get a very strong move and then it pulls back very quickly. That's our T3, 89, or a V trade. Now your T19 is your classic divergence. You want to really learn that, and your 1D, your 2D is just a way, it's just a great way of cementing, and it really dramatically improves the probability of your divergence trade coming off. Now for 200B, which I used to call it a trend following trade, but the challenge with the 200, at times it's such a deep pullback to have a 200B that it's quite often the start of a new trend. It's can be a counter trend trade. So that's why I've got it here on the counter trend area. So I'm not going to include the 200B as a trend following trade, because it's such a deep pullback. Now as a reminder, in your welcome email you would have received the spreadsheet. Now if you don't have the spreadsheet of videos, don't worry, just simply go onto my Google Drive and you'll see it there under new member downloads. Okay, so in the folder new member downloads, you'll get this complete Excel spreadsheet. It's got over 300 of my recordings in it. Now one thing a lot of members don't realize, down the bottom of the spreadsheet, okay, at the bottom you've got master, strategy, John Shealy, general, webinars, live trading videos, day trading, Q&A, CL and QES, YM, Forex. There's not so much there of stocks, but remember traders, it doesn't matter what market or what time frame you trade, each one of the setups is applicable. Remember, all of the markets, if you were to remove off every chart what market it was or what time frame, they'd be very hard to tell what market it is. Now I mentioned here, and under the strategies, you'll be able to go straight to that spreadsheet and say in this example where I'm recommending that you start with the 34B under strategy, you'll find a ton of videos there on the 34B. Okay, so there's a lot of videos there. We also have, of course, under the John Shealy videos, these are the ones for brand new members. Now these are the two 90-minute training sessions that we run and record for new members. Okay, so you want to start with these. Now remembering that traders, we're trading and learning to trade against some of the best traders in the world, so we've got to be the best. We've got to lift up our skill set. You know, I still have traders write to me and say, oh look, there's too much information here. I want to keep it really easy. Well, traders, remember, we're trading against the best of the best, so we've got to become good. So yes, there's a ton of training materials. Focus on just the one or two strategies to begin with, and you'll pick it up over a period of time. But we're going to teach you a wide variety of setups, but it's very important. So once again, as you watch these, mark them off in your journal so you know you've watched them before. But strategies and concepts, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and some of these are short videos, but watch all of these because we go through the setups in great detail. And of course, under day trading, I've got a lot of live videos here, well, a recap. And now some of these are also on YouTube for the general public, but the majority of these videos you see here are privately listed, which means that they're for members only. Now I just wanted to quickly go to the Google Drive. Now as a reminder here, traders, that when you first join, you want to go to the strategy PowerPoints. So the strategy PowerPoints have the key PowerPoints. So all of these are downloadable. You can download them from my Google Drive. You can then print them out or have them on your computer. And we don't have PowerPoints or cheat sheets for every one of our strategies, but we do for all of the key ones, and so they're here. Now the DD is the 1 or 2 double divergence strategy, so it can be a little, so some members have got a little confused there. So DD is the 1-2 double divergence. Okay, so there's that there. Now also there is cheat sheets there for my key strategies, so you want to focus on the strategy PowerPoints and the cheat sheets. Now remembering also that every week I upload new ebooks, handouts. You'll see here there's a lot of new recordings, and so most weeks I do new Q&A sessions. I'll do Renko videos, etc., and I post them in the new recordings and uploads folder. Now I mentioned at Renko, which I've trading virtually full-time now, and I love the Renko. I've opened up a specific chart there, or sorry, folder on Renko. Now these are also in the new recordings, but I do have folder, but I do have a Renko folder there as well. So just getting back then, finally, what strategies do I recommend you absolutely focus on? Well, first of all, the 34B. That has to be your real foundation setup. Okay, it's a trend following strategy. You'll find, and just to go back to the Google Drive there, so where it says 34B, if you go into that folder, you'll find a ton of research, of screenshots, of feedback from members, etc. And there's another one where some of the information is is repeated, but there's 2 different folders there. And there's even one there on 34B ES trading, a heap of research there on trading the ES with it. Now remember, the 34B works on all markets and all time frames. So whether you trade stocks, Forex, start off with the 34B. It works. The second one I mentioned there, traders, was the rule of one if you're going to trade Renko. Now back to the PowerPoint. uh, Now a lot of these you'll see research reports going back 2 or 3 years ago. Some of the stuff I've done goes back many years ago, but you'll see here extremely profitable strategies, 80% win-loss ratios, etc. One of our members sent me through, Dave, and thank you, Dave, from Seattle Dave. This is from the 11th of the 1st 2018. Continue to trade the 34B, done with 41 ticks today. It's changed my performance about 1,000%. Dave virtually solely trades the 34B. It works. It's a brilliant core strategy. So traders, what I've just done is shown you those. Once again, in the introduction email, we go through these to a degree, as far as what I recommend, but we do now have the new introduction of the rule of one for Renko. So thank you, traders, and I hope this was informative and helpful for you.